All right, we ready?
Yes.
All right, hello everybody.
Hello, my name is Timmy Basil.
And my name's Tucker Basil, and we're coming to you live from Belle Plaine, Minnesota.
On Pi Day.
Happy Pi Day, everybody.
Happy Pi Day.
Yes.
So, before we started this, I was telling Tucker that since it's Pi Day, and since I'm an engineer and he's a science teacher, we have to mention something about Pi Day.
Well, yeah. Did you make a pie?
I did not make a pie.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
In past years, I've made a pie on Pi Day.
Well, there's still time. The day's not over yet.
So, for those of you that might not be aware, it's called Pi Day because it's March 14th.
Right.
And the first couple digits of pi is 3.14.
What are the next two?
3.1415926.
Oh, 1-5. We missed it. We missed it by a few years. That must have been a special day.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're coming to you live to, if you're new to our live streams, we're here to just talk about everything and nothing in the hopes that we spark a connection with somebody that's looking to make an adoption plan and hoping that somebody sees this and is like, oh, those guys are pretty neat.
So do you want to... I kind of want to start with a little bit of an adoption update, which I think is really cool.
Well, before we move past Pi Day, I have to mention this, that, Pi Day is nice and, it's worth celebrating.
Oh, here we go.
I have a more preferred day, which is Mole Day. So for those that aren't chemically, in the loops, Mole Day is on October 23rd, because that's the, 10:23. Anyway. Specifically at 6:22 a.m. Anyway, okay, now you can talk about adoption.
Oh boy. So, in order for us to get listed in the adoption agency's profile booklet, we have to have a little profile page. Well, technically 4 pages that we submit that will be about us and our family. So
that our adoption company can use to hand out to birth mothers that want to make connections with people.
Yep, and one of the exciting things that we did was we recently got back a closer to a final draft of our profile, and I kind of want to... Do you want to give a little background of it?
Oh, yeah, so you didn't mention Karin yet, did you?
No.
Okay. So there's a bunch of companies that can, do these sorts of things, or people can do it themselves, but we felt like we couldn't do it ourselves. Because we're not graphically, minded like that. But my cousin, Karin Larson, is a skilled graphic artist. She has a company that she does a lot of stuff for. Anyway, we asked her to help us out with this, and here's a sneak peek.
A sneak peek of what
she made for us.
And I even inverted the picture so you could see it.
Actually see it the right
way. So
you
could actually see it.
So if you notice, Timmy's shirt is inverted.
So that's page 1 of our adoption profile book.
Yeah, so we're excited that that's kind of starting to come together.
Yep.
Because we haven't gotten notified that we've moved up on the list yet, but we're within the top 10 of being next to be invited into the book.
Mm-hmm. So that's sort of like the next step for us, is getting listed in that profile booklet.
So that's exciting. Anyway,
so last week we had a little bit of a longer question and answering session.
It was good though. I think it was
good. But I think this week we're going to just keep it somewhat brief, but also talk a little bit about... So for those of you that haven't been keeping up with the weather in Minnesota, we recently had a few days where it was 60 degrees, high 50s, low 60s, which got us thinking about summertime.
And just before you go into that too much more, for those that aren't, into Minnesota culture, we like to refer to that as a false spring. Because this week it's going to be, highs of 34.
And there's some chance of snow tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, and as I recently found out from Tucker's dad, there's an old saying in Minnesota that snow has to fall on a robin 3 times before spring can come.
Yep.
So
we'll see. Maybe because we've seen robins now pretty frequently, which is always exciting. So maybe we'll get that first snow on a robin's back this week.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about for spring and summer?
Yeah, so we decided that we're just going to share briefly about some things that we're excited to do this spring and mostly summer, because Minnesota spring is yeah, there's a little bit going on, but the real excitement happens in summer too. So, Timmy, do you want to start with one thing that you're looking forward to doing this summer?
Well, I just want to share my 2 things. I came up with a list of just 2 really short things I can share, and one of them is related to the shirt that I'm wearing.
He didn't invert this one, so
I
can't
couldn't
read it.
invert
I'm
that.
sorry.
So it's Itasca State Park. It's in northern Minnesota State Park, and I actually went there for my birthday. We went together 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And it's a really beautiful place. It's technically where the headwaters of the Mississippi River are. So we can walk out with our bare feet and just stand right at the start of the Mississippi River.
Yep. The water's only up to like your ankle at that point.
So going to state parks is one of my favorite things to do in the summertime. And I'll just share like one of the other things I really enjoy doing, which might just seem a little bit random, but I like to fly kites.
He does like flying this kite.
One of the things I want to share in this post after we're done here is it would have been one summer in Worthington, Minnesota. Yep. We were flying a kite next to Lake Okabena.
Yep. And
I strapped a GoPro to the kite, and when the kite went up, it actually snapped a really good picture of us from up in the air. So I'll have to share that picture that we got from the GoPro attached to a kite. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I like to do, is just, see how high I can get a kite to go. And then it's always a little, because there's a lot of fields in Minnesota. So there's a lot of places that you can fly a kite. When I was growing up in Pennsylvania, there weren't a whole lot of places that you could fly a kite. Just because there were trees everywhere. So
mountains? Were there mountains?
Oh, a lot of mountains. Yeah. So if you were flying a kite really high, there's a pretty good chance it would get stuck in a tree. But in Minnesota, there's fields everywhere. So,
ooh, I want to try something. I was thinking about this earlier, and I didn't tell you about this. So I hope you're okay with this. I want to channel my inner Carrie Miller from Minnesota Public Radio, because they do call-ins, and I love listening to them. And so if you're watching this live, and you want to share with us what your favorite summer activities are, let us know, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. This is Carrie Miller with NPR. No,
he's not really Carrie Miller with NPR.
I thought I could get away with it. I sound just like her. Anyway, so thanks for sharing that, Timmy. That's really I like those. I like that you shared those.
And I just want to add, it would have been last summer whenever we were at our campsite over near Lake Chautauqua, and I was actually flying a kite by myself in a field, and it's like a shared campground with a lot of families that were staying there. And one of these, there's like a little group of kids that was just walking down the road behind me where I was flying my kite. And they just stopped and they were staring at it for like 5 minutes. And then I just remember one of them was just like, "That's so cool." And I was just like, if there wasn't COVID happening, I would have just handed it to him and said, "Here, why don't you fly a kite for a while?" But
don't let it take you off. Oh, we got our first caller in. Rhonda Basil saying, camping and boating with family.
I think that was what you were going to mention.
Yep, that was one of the things.
Do you want to move on to that?
So that's a perfect segue, Rhonda Basil. Thanks, Mom. So one of my favorite things. Another caller coming in, Haley Hamill, my cousin. Thank you for calling in. She says, the wonderful weather and being outside. Yes.
Absolutely.
Boating. Yeah, boating. I like boating. We were family camping that we do down in southwestern Minnesota at Lake Chautauqua. And I love boating. That's like something I've been doing since I was a kid. We had like little training skis that were extra short, and the ropes tied the skis together. And that's how I learned how to ski, being pulled behind the boat. And then like tubing and wakeboarding, kneeboarding, all those things. I love doing water sports and enjoying the weather that way. Let's see. Oh, and then the other thing I'm really excited about is gardening. I love gardening.
You should have brought your seeds over here.
I should have. I could have done that. I got a heating mat this year, and I'm really excited to use that to start the seeds. I'm sure we'll have a featured one once we start it.
I'll interrupt a little bit here. For those of you that don't know Tucker personally, he has a little bit of an addiction to collecting plants. So We ordered some seeds for our garden, and they just came in the mail today, and it's just an entire box of seeds. I don't know where we're going to put them all because our garden is only is it 20 feet by 30 feet?
I think that's what it is.
And I think you have enough seeds to, plant a whole field.
I could, but, I can save them and, maybe use them next year. Anyway, well, and they don't all germinate. Anyway, I'm really excited to start the garden.
Yeah.
And then just, I like the routine of having outdoor, chores to do. It sounds kind of weird, but I just like to be able to, if it's just I've got an hour to kill instead of sitting and watching TV or something, I like to be able to just go outside and pitter-patter around outside, weed the garden, and mow the lawn.
I personally like the stuff that grows in the garden. Just being able to walk out into the garden and just pick some cherry tomatoes and eat them.
A cucumber or something.
So
I'm so excited for that. I have the seeds. I'm gonna start planning out when I'm gonna start germinating them and all that stuff. And that's one of my favorite things to do in the summertime. Is that.
And your mom and dad did you have a garden growing up, or is it just now that they have a garden?
We used to have a much bigger garden than it is now. We had, growing up, I think it was roundabouts of an acre side, an acre of garden. So. And
I don't know if you knew this about me, but growing up at my parents' house, they never personally had a garden, but my grandparents had a garden.
Oh, okay.
So we would go to my grandparents, and there would always be strawberries, cucumbers, things like that.
Yeah.
So, potatoes for sure.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. As I'm sitting here looking past the phone and looking outside out our back door, you mentioned the whole...
my mom commented.
Let's see.
Oh, gardens are great. She hates weeding them.
And then there's more. I can't see the rest of it.
So this is a question from, or not really a question, but just comment from my mom, Miranda. And so, hello, Mom. And she says that it's windy there today, and so she's in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So snow forecast next week, and we're supposed to get a little bit of snow next week too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was saying was, so thanks for calling in, Miranda. We appreciate it. That's my Carrie Miller for you. Now I'm gonna flip the camera on for just a second so you can see my view of some of our plants. You can see the ficus tree here and a calamondin tree, and there's some more plants down below.
Those are just the indoor plants.
Yeah. In this room.
In this room. Yeah.
I think every room has at least one plant. You can see.
I would say every room has at least 3 plants.
Well, on average, maybe 3 plants. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's a shorter episode, but I think it kind of averages out from last week. Is there anything else that you want to say you're looking forward to this summer?
No, those are the 2 things I wanted to share this week.
Main things.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Is it okay if I sign us out then?
Go for it.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to help us in our journey, what I like to always say is just comment, give our posts some action and love. And then even sharing is awesome. It gives us a wider spread than what we can do by ourselves. And the mission is to see if we can connect with somebody that wants to do an adoption plan and thinks that we're pretty neat and wants to and is okay with us being their parents of their baby. So
all right. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Yep, next Sunday at 1 p.m.
All
right. Oh, I hit my elbow.
Oh no.
All right. Bye, everybody.